News can really zap the momentum from an NFL player, especially for our fantasy football teams. This could really make an impact for us on the long term and short term, or it could not affect us at all. One thing we're going to talk about again is Cam Akers coming back to practice to the Rams and possibly being back in the fold of getting some sort of workload. This is very ambiguous, and we don't know what's going to happen, but this could put a pin in the Kyren Williams balloon that we've been looking at all season long as a stash for our IR spot. Right now, he's in the IR spot for a lot of us, so there's really no reason to move him unless for some reason there's another IR player on waivers or you got another player on IR or something that you can make that transition to. But right now, he's kind of good chilling on your IR spot because there's nothing else really to do with him other than drop him for another player that's listed on IR. Kyren Williams is now in a murky situation where when he comes back, might be competing with touches, not just with Hendo and company, but with Cam Akers as well. On top of that, though, we don't know what the workload's going to be looking like with Akers when he comes back. We don't know what kind of leash he's going to be getting. So we could be still looking at the same opportunities for Williams going forward with maybe a slight decrease. We don't know. There's a lot of ambiguity in this situation, a lot of unknown. This is a big old mystery box here. But one thing I can tell you is Akers is back. He's practicing. He's going to be used in. This offense is looking for something. It hasn't been looking good. Stashing Williams is going to be really hard to do in your basic redraft leagues, 8-man benches, 7-man benches with no IR spot. It's going to be hard keeping him on the bench. If you need to make a move to move on from, go ahead. From what I've seen, there are a few different camps. I've seen some camps where people are stashing him no matter what. They don't care. They want him on the roster. They really want to see this through. I'm also seeing people come to me with add drop scenarios. They got Williams and they want to drop him for somebody else. They want to tackle short-term upside or get that player now that they can lock into. And there's also camps that are just letting him chill on the IR spot because what else are you going to do with him? If you got an IR spot, he's there. What's the point of even dropping him unless you got another IR option to move in with? When it comes to Kyren Williams, it's all about your perspective with your team right now, with what you want to do with this asset. This is a speculation play. So even if he's healthy, even if he gets the workload to himself, it doesn't mean it's going to hit. And we're looking at a running back here who we're excited about getting touches, an unknown commodity that could be getting touches. Now that these touches are in jeopardy right now, it takes a little bit of shine off the asset. On the other hand, Cam Akers may not have that long of a leash if he continues to play bad. Also, the rest of the running backs haven't been too studly as well, so this could be an opportunity for him to get touches. We're not looking for him to be a Jonathan Taylor. We're not looking for him to be a top-tier running back. We're not looking for RB1 production. We're looking for an unknown running back, a rookie who's getting touches, who's chilling on the back of the roster, and we're just closing our eyes and hoping that something happens. And that's pretty much what you're looking at for Kyren Williams. A lot of people will hit the comments. You'll see it below after a few hours once this video hits. They'll mention the 40 time. They'll mention the size. But honestly, once he's back in the fold, there'll only be a handful of games left into the season. If he's getting touches and he's getting workload, you're just going to be happy that you got a running back getting touches and workload, and that's it. You only worry about that stuff more for long-term outcome. When you're setting up DFS lineups, the talent profile isn't what you're looking at. You're looking at more workload. You're looking at more matchups. You're looking at opportunity. You're looking at all that stuff. The ancillary athletic profile, the college profile, all that stuff kind of goes out the window when you're looking at the short term. The farther you gauge out, I'm talking about a full season of redraft, dynasty, Devy, then that stuff comes to play more because that creates more variables, and the more athletic you are, the better profile you have, the less likely all those variables are going to impact you on the long term. But for the short term, we're talking about a few games, one game, matchup-wise. If you're getting touches, you're getting opportunity, and you're in the right game script, you're in a good offense, you got a good pace, you got all these metrics here going your way, then you may be a guy to hit that week. or you also may not. It's also part of the risk. But that's what we're looking at with a player like this. This is why we're calling him a speculation play, because we're speculating that there could be a chance this guy could get touches. The thing is that these touches now are in murky water. They're in jeopardy. But some people are still holding him because they do like the talent profile. They do like what they saw out of him at Notre Dame. It wasn't like he was a scrub back in his college days. We just have some lower than expected combine numbers out of him, lower than expected size out of him. So that kind of stuff kind of hinders some people's thoughts for the long term. But for a short term objective, any running back really who's getting a large portion of the workload, getting touches, you kind of want to have some sort of interest in. And what I mean by some sort of is means not all of them are going to be top tier assets. Not all of them are going to be Christian McCaffrey. You got to stop thinking about the high end. You got to start thinking about these jabronis, though, who just get touches and then have that spike week. And you're wondering where that spike week came from. A lot of that's from the matchups, the data from those matchups, the pace of play, the broken game script, the game script that was actually expected. All these variables really impacts the production on the short term. Short-term production is highly volatile and very hard to predict. You're not always going to get it right when it comes to the short term, but one thing you can always lean on if someone's getting touches and it's like a 1, 2, 3 game scenario, guaranteed those touches could lead to fantasy points, because that is the opportunity. If you're not getting touches, then you have zero opportunity because you need to touch the ball to be able to get that. Common sense, but something people don't think about when it comes to these short-term plays. But really, you just want to keep an eye on them. You want to keep an eye on Akers. You want to keep an eye on the touch distribution. If Akers is hovering around 3 yards per carry, 2.5 yards per carry, Kyren Williams before the season was noted that he has a large role in the offense. That is going to be an indicator that he could have a larger role than expected in the offense. So Cam Akers is a litmus test to what we could be seeing in the future, because if Cam Akers hits, then it's going to be his job. If he doesn't hit, which is a highly likely outcome since he didn't do that earlier in the season, then Kyren Williams might get a shot earlier in the season. But let me know what you think about Kyren Williams down below in the comments. How are you handling this situation? Also, hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping content like this. When news drops, I'm with you. Waiver wire content, I'm with you. Trade advice, I'm with you. Also, if you need another young player, you want to move on from Kyren Williams, and you want to see other options, I have a video right here. Check that out. You might be interested in this wide receiver. But I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.